Part 3 of our Carnarvon trip video covers our last full day and the morning before we departed. After our massive walk to Big Bend, we were extremely sore and sorry for ourselves the following day. So we decided to take a chill out day, spent the morning relaxing, and I took the opportunity to download some of the footage and still photos and recharge some batteries. But we did manage to have a gingerly walk up to the top of the hill behind Takarakka and check out the view. Mid-afternoon, Mel heard a bit of rustling in the grass behind our camp, and on further inspection we found this little echidna out for a walk. Later in the afternoon we headed down to the creek just behind our camp area to do a bit of platypus spotting. Found some kangaroos grazing nearby, and I even spotted a couple of rock wallabies across the opposite bank. While waiting patiently for a platypus to appear, I heard some rustling behind me and found another little echidna out for a walk. Eventually a platypus did appear, but we didn't get too much of a viewing before the light got too low and we had to call it a day. Up bright and early the next morning we headed back down to the creek with the hope that we'd spot even more platypus. And we spent a couple hours down there before heading back to camp to cook breakfast and pack up camp and head to Lake Nugga Nugga. We were much more fortunate this morning and we saw a lot more platypus. Just being able to spot a platypus is one thing, trying to capture it on video or in a still photograph is another thing entirely. By the time you spot them, they're generally ready to disappear under the water again, and because they mostly only appear at dusk or dawn, usually you're working in low light situations. The other thing I found really difficult was that the camera was trying to focus on the reflections on the surface of the water and not on the actual platypus. I'm only using a fairly inexpensive 55 to 200mm lens for the Fuji, which I picked up just before this trip. I wanted something a bit lighter weight than my professional 50 to 140 f2.8 zoom, and while I did save some weight and gain some extra focal length, I lost a lot in autofocus speed. Eventually the platypus sightings slowed down considerably and it was time to head back for breakfast. But on the walk back I spotted this gorgeous little joey sticking its head out of its mother's pouch. And that was it for Carnarvon Gorge. It was time to pack up camp and head to Lake Nugga Nugga.